Hey, what's up, you guys? Cody again, back with another Alabama football video. Tonight, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about what's been going on with the Junior Day visit list. Obviously headlined by uh Kool-Aid, Gentry McKinstry, aka Kool-Aid, um, 5-star defensive back out of Pittston Valley, uh, in Alabama. Uh, But the big headliner is Tommy and James Brockermeyer. Uh, Tommy being the 5-star, like third best overall player in the class of 2021. He's there with his younger brother. Well, not really younger, but smaller brother in James. With their dad. Uh, James got his offer full-ride scholarship to the University of Alabama earlier today. His dad, when talked to and asked about how the visit was going, gave a rave review, said that it's been a special day uh, there in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Um, James was thrilled, said it was like a dream, just like Texas. Um, Tommy and James would they're not opposed to playing together. I feel like getting the offer from Alabama for James really pushed Alabama even higher. I think Alabama was second at the very worst, third. Um, at the very worst. Now, what I'm hearing is Bama most likely actually leads for James and Tommy, which is huge because they have ties to the University of Texas. Um, so it's very big. If we have to, in my opinion, reload on the offensive line. Um, Nick Saban earlier in the week went down, visited Amarius Mims, who was on a visit last week. He's another one of the targets in 2021, especially on the offensive line that I feel are an absolute must get to really make and continue Alabama's streak of, you know, dominance and possibly future national championships. Because we're losing Leatherwood, Dickerson, Brown, you know, on the offensive line right after this year. You know, the only guy that I can sit here and say I'm 110% confident on would be Evan Neal. Other than that guy, I mean, there's other guys that I do like, Galcourt, Quick, I like those two guys, just to name a couple. But in all actual respect, Evan Neal is the guy that you can lean on and go, I believe in that kid more than anybody else on that offensive line, not named Brown, Dickerson, or Leatherwood. Um, so I think offensive line is a vital importance. I think we need to take at least four. I could, five offensive linemen. I think would be perfectly fine, depending on who the five offensive linemen would be. The key, the best outlook, and the best case scenario is you get Tommy, you get James, and you get Amarius Mims, and you say, okay, well, whoever the fourth and fifth guy want to be, hopefully it would be Ferguson. Those four offensive linemen right now would be an absolute steal. That would be a steal in the 2021 offensive line haul. That'd be the best offensive line haul I've seen in a very long time. Two dominating offensive linemen in Tommy and Amarius. Ferguson's an absolute beast. He's a stud. He's a road grader, and the dude is strong. James Barkmeyer is very underrated. He's rated as a 3-star right now, but I guarantee you he will be a 4-star. I guarantee it. I mean, just watch the film. The dude's easily a 4-star all day long. Um, Another one is Tim Keenan. He's there. A dude that I talked to likes him. Uh, if says he obviously he's heavy. If you look at his pictures, he's very heavy at the moment. He has to get that weight in check, kind of like how I felt like about Ismail Shapsha. If Ismail Shapsha can get his weight in check and keep it in check, Shapsha um, is definitely gonna play. He's definitely gonna get some playing time if that's the case. Uh, if he would have kept his weight in check all his senior year going into, I guess you can really say the final rankings. If he kept his weight in check, he never loses that 5 star. I really don't believe that. I never think I think he's a 5 star guy. He just has to get his weight in check. Same thing with Tim Keenan. I don't think he's a 5 star guy, but he is better than what his tape shows you if he's able to keep his weight down. Uh, the guy that I talked to said he's like 340, and even at 340, he was a little bit pretty hard to handle. At 340, lose 15, 20 pounds, maybe even 25 pounds, lose, 20, 25 pounds, you know, at most 30, get down to like 310, you know, the dude will be much quicker, much faster. His hand quickness would be so much better and everything, and I think he'd be even much more harder to block. Um, Obviously, those are like the big headline stories. Xavier Shoei is it somebody that I can see possibly maybe committing after his visit. Uh, I don't see anybody. I don't see right now a big time challenger for Shoei. I believe he's Alabama and a very heavy lean to Alabama. McKinstry, the 5 star defensive back, in state. I think Alabama is running third at best second. If I had to make a determination right now, he does not end up in the Alabama Crimson Tide class for 2021. Now, of course, that's a long ways to go, but I'm just saying if it were today, then I do not see him being in this class. Um, that's really the best as aspect of it right now for the big name guys. I'll get more into it in the next day or two. Uh, Tommy and James have both commented on how their visit went. Both of them feel like it went extremely well. Ferguson, the high 4 star that I mentioned earlier, was there with Tommy and James taking pictures out on midfield with Kyle Flood. So I think it's always a good sign. Um, I think keeping the coaches, um, on deck. Keeping guys like Kyle Flood, uh, keeping guys like Pete Golden, even though he didn't do the greatest of jobs last year. I think is gonna help. You know, with recruiting. We consistently always lose guys and coaches and assistants. When we keep them, I think 2021 could be better than 2019 or 2020. Um, as far as overall recruiting class. For 2019's recruiting class, there's really nothing that's really changed. Collins, I'd love for Alfred Collins to be in this class, but I think he's most likely Texas. Um, Not 100%. There could be, he could surprise people, but I think he's Texas. In his rocket star, he's visiting Texas this time, but he's Alabama. Um, McKinley Jackson, that's the big name to know. Again, I still feel confident that he picks Alabama. Um, Jason Jones, Oregon. I truly believe Oregon. Jamil Burrows and Javon Baker, they're kind of teetering. They got some work to do in that classroom. Javon Baker, there's a reason why Javon's taking, official visits. I feel like if he was definitely for sure a four-sire full go commit and able to sign, I do not see Baker would have taken those official visits. I feel like he's given himself a fallback, something to catch him. Let's say if he doesn't get into Alabama, he can get in somewhere else and still get that 4 wide, and that's the score that he can be like, all right, I really wanted Bama, but I'm okay here. Jamil Burrows, however, shut it down, so you got to think he is most likely going to graduate. Um, Considering the fact that he's not taking any field officials. So you got to feel kind of pretty confident about that. So Baker, I feel, is the only one that can kind of really might not get into the class. And that's really just by way of, graduating. Other than that, that's really all I got. Again, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Roll Tide every day, all day. Roll Tide, Bama.